And that is what we are going to start when we discuss report. Writer. Because reporting the reports in WorkDay will help us to get the data from the WorkDay system. Right. Understand where this fits in the entire scheme of things. What is an integration and what is a report? Okay, what is an integration? If I ask you somebody, can you try to explain it in your own words? You may use any terms that you want. You do not have to use the terms that I used. What is an integration? The integration does not. I mean, create data. It does not have data. It is in the business of just transporting the data. It's just. I mean, integration will just get the data from somewhere, transform it if necessary, and deliver it. Okay, nothing else. Yes, Mohan, what would you say? What is an integration? Integration is nothing but copying from some other source, the data. Like last time, I think we had one example. I have a software currently, then we are converting into WorkDay. So we will copy the data from all the data, from previous software to current software like WorkDay software. So that can be an integration. And also, that can be an integration, yes. Yeah, and also example, I have a separate software for recruitment only. So the other recruitment data has to be come to WorkDay afterwards. So that can be integration part also. Correct, and what are the okay good? So good examples. If I have to send information from one existing system into WorkDay, right, maybe we are doing a WorkDay migration. So we have to load all the legacy data, whatever is there in the previous system. We have to convert that into a format that is understandable by WorkDay, and then we load it into WorkDay, right? That can be one integration. Okay, what else did you say? What was the other example? Sorry. But one was data load. You get the data from your applicant tracking system. Right, it can be Taleo, it can be anything else, and then you send the information into WorkDay. Yes. It is information exchange, communication between software applications. That's a very nice way of putting it. Yes. Very simple, very crisp way of putting it. That is exactly what an integration is. And then, if I ask you, what are the 3 steps of an integration, of any integration for that matter? What are the 3 broad steps? If you have to send the information. If somebody requests you for some information, you have to send it. What would you do? Get the data. You change it. Yes. So we in WorkDay's terminology, we call it as getting the data, transforming it and sending the data, right? Well, we do this every day, day in, day out, right? If I ask you, hey, can you tell me what did? Yeah, what happened in the... Let's say, you had a party yesterday. You couldn't go, so you ask somebody who did. Hey, can you tell me what happened in the party yesterday? And then what would you do? You say, oh yeah, you know what I left after having dinner. Let me call someone who was there in the end and get back to you. So you are calling somebody else. Why are you calling that person? To get the information. To get the information right, like what happened, right? You heard that something happened towards the end, so you are calling that person to get the information. Then what would you do? You will add some mirch masala and some gossip on top of it, right? You'll do some transformation and then you will call the friend who called you initially and you will pass on that information to that friend, correct? Yes. So what were the 3 steps involved? You got the data. You did some transformation. You did some transformation. Now, if you are very honest, if you do not want to do the transformation, then you will pass on the information as received, isn't it? Or in WhatsApp terms, you will forward the email, you forward the message right as is information received, forwarded as is right. Or maybe you added some mirch masala and some transformation on top of it. And then, what did you do? You called up that friend of yours and said, "Hey, you called to ask this information. Well, here it is." And you say you transmit that information to the other person. Isn't it? Isn't this what we do on a regular basis? Isn't this what communication is all about, right? So integration is the communication between software applications, where they are exchanging information. 3 steps are getting the data, transforming the data if necessary, and then sending the data to the recipient. Okay. So all clear on this. Information exchange integration. What integration is all about, right? Now we take our first step in the world of integration, right? So first step is to get the data. So getting the data may not always be used in an integration, but getting the data is important nonetheless, that we will use this report writer for any kind of information that we want from WorkDay, right? Let's say how many workers are there in a particular location. How many? What is the base pay of the workers in executive management? Supervisory organization, right? So all this kind of information, how would you do that? So you will be able to do that using reports, right? So let's start with this particular topic. So report writer. In the next couple of sessions, 2 or 3 days, we will talk about what is a report writer tool. We will get introduced to it. What are standard reports? What are custom reports? How do we schedule reports? How do we configure alerts? And we will have a quiz at the end. Okay. So, first thing, what are reports? So reports in WorkDay are designed for the functional user, right? Functional user. That means it is very simple, easy to use, easy to deploy, consumer-friendly interface. It is not something where you would need a lot of coding or a lot of complicated queries. No, not required at all. It is designed for the functional user, means it does not need any coding, right? That is what this statement means. So it is designed for the functional user, people who are working with the application, who know the data. It is designed for them. You do not need to know those complicated SQL statements. Select star from this, where this equal to this. But inner join, outer join, not required, right? They are easy to deploy, simple, easy to use, consumer-friendly interface. Okay. And the other best part about WorkDay reports are that the reports are built into the application. It is not a separate board on application. Now what happened is, if you are familiar with some other products, you would see that the applications themselves are very good. It has all the functionalities and everything. But if you need to get some information, if you need to write a report, then it becomes a very difficult thing, right? You need to reach out to some specialized person who is good with some querying, who is doing something very complicated with the reports, and so on. You have heard about things like Tableau and Cognos, right? Have you heard about those products? Tableau. Tableau, yes, but not the other one. Cognos. No, Cognos used to be the Tableau of like 20 years ago. It used to be very popular then, but now it is losing a lot of ground to the modern BI products like Tableau and so on. So what is a Tableau product? What does it do? What does Tableau do? It's a reporting tool, right? It's called a BI tool, business intelligence kind of tool. So it helps you to create fascinating reports and dashboards. Okay, to present the data in a very simple, easy-to-use, readable format. And Tableau can work with different applications to give you wonderful reports, right? So Tableau is basically a reporting tool. So the reason this reporting tool is like a separate reporting tool, the reason that it was required, was that most of the applications did not have good reporting capabilities by themselves, right? You needed to have specialist people who would create reports on top of this application as a separate product. Okay. So that was a problem historically. So in WorkDay, when they designed the product, they thought of this from the beginning that okay, for this we have to build the capability to create reports from the beginning. So reports are absolutely part and parcel of WorkDay, just like the core concepts that we talked about, like your supervisory organizations, compensation, etc. So reports are absolutely inbuilt into the application. It was not an afterthought. It was not something that was done later. It was absolutely built into the application. And the best part of it is like the security concepts that we learned, right? And the related actions that we are so familiar with now. So all of that apply equally well in the reports as well. So when you run a report, you see the output, you can straight away go to the related actions and take some action from there directly. You don't have to open up that object and then go to the related actions and do something. It is absolutely inbuilt there and you can take the action directly from the user interface. Okay,